Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. This is another edition of the weekly crypto update. You'll definitely want to watch this video in its entirety because I'm going to be sharing my market insights with you guys in this video. I'll explain to you guys where I think we are in the cycle, where I expect this to go, and what I'm doing to prepare. Given that it looks like alt season is around the corner, I'm sure many of you guys are going to want to do your research. And for that reason, I've compiled a list of my coin picks for the week. It's a work in progress, but you can click the Google sheet in the description below and just bookmark it. This way, when the list is completed, you'll have quick access to it. I also share token insights in my newsletter. It's 100% free and I never shill anything. So if you're looking for ad-free insights, I highly recommend that you guys click the link in the description below to sign up for the free newsletter. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this video. Before we talk about ETH 2.0, which by the way I got advance notice on, and I shared that news with my patrons. The source that I used said I couldn't say it on my social media platforms, but he did give me permission to tell my patrons. But before I talk more about that, I just wanted to quickly let you guys know what my game plan is. I got a source that's approximately 99-95% reliable, and apparently there's nationwide fraud going on. And he believes that a lot of these states that were called for Biden, the calls are going to be reversed. Now, if that source is correct, even though I bet a relatively small portion of my portfolio, I stand to make sizable gains. And you can see here, if you buy $100 worth of the Yes tokens here to bet on Trump winning, your potential return could be $579. That's over 5x. And you can actually bet the other way too. If you think he's going to lose, you just click here on no. And so by betting 100 DAI, you'll win approximately $14 if Trump loses. If you guys are interested in placing a bet, you just go here to catnip.exchange. They have a Medium post here that outlines all the rules. And by January 22nd of 2021, users who won will be able to redeem their shares in a 1-to-1 ratio for DAI. But until then, you can use the secondary markets to sell and buy the tokens if you want. And what's likely to happen is that when the winner is announced, for example, if Trump is announced the winner and you bought the Yes shares, you won't be able to redeem it until the 22nd, but I'm sure somebody on the secondary market will want to buy the token for 90 cents or more because they know on the 22nd, they'll be able to redeem it for at least 1 DAI. So it looks like ETH Phase 0 deposit contract is now active. This will launch the beacon chain, which establishes and maintains proof of stake consensus mechanism. If you want to run your own validator on Ethereum 2.0, you can make sure you have the necessary hardware requirements, technical expertise, and follow the step-by-step instructions. As you guys know, back in March, I sold a large portion of my Bitcoin, went heavy into Ethereum. To date, that's paid off extremely well. Personally, I expect Ethereum to continue to outperform Bitcoin. Just like DeFi took a lot of Ethereum out of circulating supply, plus forced users to spend Ethereum, and at its peak, people were paying on average $30 to $50 per transaction. Now on top of that, you're going to have these validators that are also going to be taking Ethereum out of circulation. And once DeFi starts to kick back up, you're going to have all three forces converging. So personally, I'm expecting Ethereum to go well above $1,000 on this next big rally. And because of this outlook, I'm even considering selling more of my Bitcoin that recently appreciated in order to secure more Ethereum before the DeFi mania gets reinvigorated. Next up, DeFi season could be over as Bitcoin and Ether pack bags for the moon. As profits from the DeFi alt season trickle back into Bitcoin, the long-term sustainability of decentralized finance may come into question. When CryptoCompare asked 26 exchange operators in the leading trading venues about the future of decentralized exchanges, only 7.7% thought DEXs would overtake centralized exchanges in 2 years. To be honest, I think it's kind of ridiculous. Obviously, they're going to have a huge bias. This is the equivalent of asking publishers back in the 90s if they thought the internet would one day replace them. And given the innovation that I'm seeing in the AMM space, I think it's just a matter of time before AMMs dominate the space. And oftentimes when I say that, people will respond with, well, you're always going to need a centralized exchange to onboard new clients. which is true, but I think ultimately these centralized exchanges are going to end up integrating DeFi protocols into their backend. And it may not happen in 2 years. It may take a longer time for that to happen. But until that happens, I do think these DEXs will have to accrue a lot of value and will have to exceed the volume on centralized exchanges. Once they've lured in enough liquidity and their fees and slippage are dramatically reduced in a bid to keep some of their market share and remain relevant, I think exchanges will end up capitulating. And inevitably, they'll go ahead and integrate these DeFi protocols. When it comes to the DeFi bubble claims, I agree with Jonathan here. The mellowing in immediate hype for DeFi will be disappointing for the short-term trader, but is likely to be good overall for the industry. The bubble over the summer was not sustainable, but did show that various aspects of DeFi, lending, trading, DAOs, are actually used for particular use cases. And here's another good point. 73% of the panel said scams, excessive hype, and market manipulation were a key obstacle to DeFi growth, and some likened DeFi to the ICO boom in 2017. But in terms of where we are in this cycle, I still think that we're very, very early. I think the DeFi space will continue to innovate, continue to come out with updates, and the volume and the value locked will continue to grow. And it doesn't matter which sector you're talking about, whenever you're in a hype cycle and you get a huge amount of accrual and value, you're going to attract all types of actors, many of which are going to be opportunists to take advantage of people and do whatever they need to do to extract value before the market cycle is completed. And part of the reason why I remain optimistic on DeFi in general is that VC firms are actively looking for investments in secondary markets, which means they'll be buying DeFi tokens off the market. We saw that with Bancor, we saw that with Aave, we saw that with Synthetics, with Link, and there's some other protocols that I've been sharing with my patrons that haven't saw a lot of VC related activity in buying, but I anticipate that to change in the next coming month or two. And once these VC firms that have all this influence and capital, they buy into a sector, they're gonna do their utmost best to pump their own bags. For example, Pantera Capital recently disclosed during a webinar that DeFi will be the center of the upcoming bull rally. And honestly, this isn't different from an individual investor who buys a coin, sees it appreciate, and then shills it to other people. So if you have Pantera out there buying DeFi tokens and then encouraging other people to buy DeFi tokens by hosting these webinars, there's a good chance that these tokens are going to pump. And who knows, maybe I'll be wrong about this, but instead of buying more Bitcoin or Ethereum, I'm using all my free available capital to buy even more DeFi tokens as this market begins to tick up. All right, to end the video, the token of the week is Nexus Mutual, ticker NXM. Part of the reason why this token took off was because of DeFi. Prior to the DeFi market taking off, it was trading less than $10. At its peak, it reached a high of $75, and it's currently trading around 20 bucks. And basically, it's a way to provide insurance on the blockchain. By pooling risk, all of us who are part of the ecosystem working together basically act like an insurance company. There's a variety of losses that are covered. Ultimately, it's up to the community to decide if they want to cover the loss or not. But a couple things they cover are smart contract bugs, a DAO hack, or a purity multi-sig wallet issue. And they're also doing some unique things that are only possible in the blockchain space. For example, back in September, they came out with shield mining. So in addition to getting 50% of the cover price provided by the paying member, token holders that stake will be also eligible for shield mining rewards. For example, NXM holders that provide coverage for TBTC minters will also be rewarded in Keep, which is the platform's native token. And the way this shield mining incentive worked was that you would get 2 Keep tokens for every 1 NXM token staked, and you would get your distributions on a weekly basis until the 750,000 Keep token supply had been exhausted. And to me, this is only fair given that the space is very young, so the risk of a hack or any other adverse event is more likely to happen. And for that reason, you need to amply reward people that are staking their NXM tokens, because they'll end up losing a good portion of their tokens in the event of a hack or something even worse. And by adding additional layers of incentives, you'll attract more people to buy NXM tokens and stake them. And the more people you have socializing the cost, the smaller the loss is going to be on an individual basis. And personally, I don't think one insurance protocol is going to dominate the space. If you guys know any other protocols that are doing something similar that might be in competition with Nexus Mutual, do me and the entire community a big favor by listing the name of the project in the description below. Now, if you guys are interested to know whether I've bought the token or not, or if I plan to buy it, I only disclose personal portfolio details in my newsletter and in my private Discord channel. If you guys have any interest in joining my private Discord channel, check out my Patreon page. Even if you join one of the lower tiers, you'll be able to get access to my private Discord channel and all the exclusive material that I publish. If you're interested in joining and you think you can gain value from the services that I offer, just click the link in the description below to head over to my Patreon page. With that being said, this is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.